Jump on it. Let's do it. Find it. All right. Ladies and gents, we are live and in living color with this new edition of the Beyond the Curtain Wrestling Podcast, Best of 2021. It's going to be an interesting episode where we give our feedback on what we believe are the best of the best wrestler, the best male wrestler, female wrestler, best feud, best tag team, best face, best heel, a bunch of stuff. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to this live stream. We're not going to do a live stream every single week. Some of these will be pre-recorded episodes, but I appreciate y'all for jumping on in here tonight. We have got a couple of very, very special guests to join me in this. I think we need to be all called the knuckleheads. I feel like that fits our motto best. But we've got the host of the Buffalo James podcast, the one and the only Mr. James Beasley.
Hey, yo, Redeemer. Redeem these nuts.
That's how he starts tonight. Okay. Then we've got man number 2 of the hour, the host of the Unhinged Wrestling podcast, man, the myth, the legend, Randy Savage, Randall Beatley.
Well, when I share this on my podcast, that what an introduction you made there for people who can't see video. But you can, anyway, let's just jump into this.
Yes. Let us jump into this. This is going to be an awesome show, I feel like. One that may be some controversy with some of the decisions. But hey, listen, it should be fun. That's all that matters. We're just 3, opinionated people. We have absolutely, no credibility in the wrestling industry. So who really cares about our opinions? But it's fun. So why not? Let's do it. So we will start off. It's hard to figure out, hard to pick a topic because you want to save some of the best ones for last. Let's go with the best tag team. The best tag team of the year. I'm going to start off with Redeeming Nuts over there. Best tag team of 2021. You'll get your turn, I promise, Randall.
My best tag team of 2021. Come on, they're the best tag team in the world. Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. If you look at the progression they've made, they've carried AEW's tag division this year. They've carried, for the most part, Triple A's tag team division this year. They put on some very, very, very good matches in every promotion that they've been in this year. And you just got to say it. They're the best tag team in the world.
My man, Randall Beatley, give me your opinion on what is the best tag team of 2021.
Well, there's multiple tag teams you could pick. I would not pick the one that was just named. Surprisingly, this isn't a WWE tag team. I'm going FTR. My only reason is they've taken a style of wrestling which is not popular in Central America, sort of lucha libre, and they got it over. I think personally, to me, I don't think they've been booked the right way in AEW, but it's hard to book that style because of the type of style AEW has on. It's not their fault. WWE couldn't do it either. I wanted to pick a WWE tag team, but when an entire company gives literally two shits about their tag team division, I could pick the Usos, but they really haven't done anything all year but play background to Roman Reigns. So for this year alone, I'm going to have to go with FTR.
Interesting choice. I'm actually really surprised that you chose a AEW tag team. I would have really thought that you would have chosen either a WWE or NXT tag team. So I'm pretty appreciative that you are expanding your horizons on this episode. I appreciate that. That's a long way. That's a lot. It's coming a long way. So I appreciate that.
Don't expect a lot of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Listen, if that's the only thing AEW wise positive, I'll take it. So, thinking about this today, I was like, man, all the tag teams in wrestling, who to me stuck out the most? And you can say whatever you want about them as far as, people will say they book themselves. I don't know if that's the case, but I am going to go the Young Bucks as well. And the reason is because their heel run as a tag team with the tag team titles, to me, it was entertaining. And to me, the Bucks put on a pretty hell of a match as a tag team collectively, just about every chance they get. They usually, you can call it a spot fest, you can call it whatever you want to, but they usually perform very well. They can counter their styles with an FTR type tag team, with a Lucha Bros type tag team. Their styles that they can match up against any team makes them very unique, and they're entertaining, not only on BTC, what is it called? BTC? Yeah, Being the Elite. BTE.
Being the Elite, UPT.
I'm sorry. That's my acronym, BTC. I just find them as a very entertaining tag team. I think they're very good. So that's why I chose the Young Bucks. I think that they just overall just really help revitalize the AEW tag team scene. They meshed their style with every tag team they wrestled with, and they collectively matched up together as a tag team for most of the year. FTR had either a couple of little singles runs here and there. I believe it was Cash that was out for a bit after Fight for the Fallen. With that scary ass injury. Hopefully nothing like that happens in Charlotte in a couple of weeks at Battle of the Belts.
They won't have enough time on that show.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But yeah, so we're gonna go Young Bucks. So interesting start there. Let's go next. I'm going to start deleting some of these so we don't come into the issue of duplicating them. Let's go with the feud of the year. And Randall, we'll start with you on this. Who was your feud of the year?
All right. To me, best feud of 2021 is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Very unpopular choice. I get it. However, the Brock Lesnar that we have up to this point that will culminate in a few days at day one, to me is the best Brock Lesnar we've ever had. We've all known he could talk. He didn't need Paul Heyman to get him over. At least I believe that. But Heyman was just, it fit his MMA style character to have Paul Heyman. But this is a Brock Lesnar that I wish we would have had during that year-long reign. WWE's going back to doing sort of like out of arena promos, and I've been saying forever that's the best way to handle. That would have been the best way to handle Brock Lesnar is, hey, let's show him in Canada eating a fucking moose, and hey, guess what? They're kind of doing now is showing Brock Lesnar's sort of Canadian like macho man side. And then, of course, the whole Roman Reigns, the whole Paul Heyman aspect of it. I think it's been booked very well. So, yeah, that is my feud of the year.
Very interesting. Very nice. I'll go next. And I'm going to say my feud of the year. There were a couple there were a couple ones that I thought really deserved um, this spot. But the one that I think was really spot on, it brought me back a little bit to the old school. Not maybe not old school, I shouldn't say that. Speaking of old school, rest in peace, Mr. John Madden, legendary coach that passed away today. Of course, we didn't get to see him as a coach, but we all know him best as his commentary. I'll give my best John Madden impersonation and say that Brevard is a good Brevard. That's all I got. So, anyways, rest in peace, John Madden. Back to this. My feud of the year brought me to almost back to the mid 2000s, early 2010s, as far as the revitalization of keeping me in tune with the feud. Would I specifically want to watch a match? Would I specifically want to watch a show to see how the feud develops and whatnot? Now, I will be honest and say that I did not watch most of this feud transitioning, but I watched most of the highlights of it, and I was really trying to stay in tune with it. My feud of the year is Seth Rollins versus Edge. I think that this feud really brought me back to the early 2010s, late 2000s WWE, where the storytelling was very good. The characters themselves really drove this storyline. It's kind of a simple storyline. Edge had I believe, a title match with Roman Reigns, and Rollins interfered, set up the feud, had tremendous matches with at SummerSlam. I believe they had a match on SmackDown as well. I believe they had a Hell in a Cell too at Crown Jewel. So culminated the feud. It just was really well done. They didn't use any gimmick matches until the third and last match, which is typical kind of older school style of WWE. I appreciated that. It needed it. And overall, just like I said, there's a few good ones for sure, but I really, really appreciated this feud and enjoyed it. So my feud of the year. Mr. James, your turn, sir.
I'm gonna be honest, that kind of shocked me. I was gonna say, what's the over under on me and you agreeing on like 100% of this, but well, it's not
So far
very
we're
good.
over two, is it not?
Well, we both had the Young Bucks, so
Okay, we're over one. I'm sorry.
but
I'm already far behind.
best feud to me was a feud that culminated this year, but started basically at the beginning of the inception of AEW. So it's longer than a year-long feud, but it really picked up steam this year. I think just the way that it was booked, the way that we got to see the best of each character, and the way that it ended. And it took, like I said, almost 3 years to culminate. Just the ability to tell a long-term story. It culminated this year. Omega versus Hangman Page, feud of the year.
You're more predictable than Monday Night Raw.
I had a feeling that one of us was definitely going to say that. And it's not that I don't think it deserved it. I think it did a very good job. I think my only problem with it is that we were red hot into the feud. We were getting to the point of it. And then it just seemed like the booking had to stop for a couple months because of whether Punk debuted, whether Danielson had a debut. I just hated the fact that we got to the boiling hot point of it, the fight for the Fallen, 10-man elimination tag. If the Dark Order and Hangman wins, he gets a title shot. The Dark Order gets a title shot for the tag belts. And they lost. And I remember, obviously, all three of us were there at that show. That was the opening match. Great match. It was hot. The crowd was on fire. That was the first time I've seen Bojangles Coliseum sold out for a non-WWE show, or maybe a late WCW show, I guess. But the first time they came around, Dynamite for Charlotte, a little over half full. Genesis TNA pay-per-view in 2009, I was there for that. That arena was less than half full. And so Fight for the Fallen was almost truly a sold out, packed out crowd. It was awesome to see that. They were on fire for that beginning of the match. And
we
then
were
when
on
Hangman,
fire too.
Yeah, well, you ain't kidding. Listen, Battle of the Bells in 2 weeks. Bojangles Coliseum. If it's 30 degrees outside, it may be okay, but just keep a little bit of air flowing. That's all I ask.
AC works. I know the hockey arena works fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's freezing cold in there when the Checkers play. So what happens? But yeah, Hangman in the Dark Order, they lost, and the crowd wasn't the same after that match. They were pretty hot for Jericho's match, but it was like, why? What happens now? Well, where does this go? Which can be a good thing, a bad thing. But when you leave Hangman Page off television for 2 months, you get other people with a title shot that don't deserve it, and it just creates a really funky kink in the chain, so to speak. But enough about that. It was still a good feud. It culminated with the match of Full Gear. Hangman is the champion. So it did its justice. But that was my determining factor and why I didn't choose that. All right. Let's go with, man, oh man, there's so many good places to do it. All right. Let's go with the best face and the best heel. Now, up to you guys. Do you want to kind of split it up, best face first and go around, or best heel go around, or just
I would say
both?
but best face and then best heel.
Fair enough. James Beatley, you go first, sir.
We starting with face.
Yes, sir.
Best face of 2021, Adam Hangman Page.
He really wasn't lying. So far, it's all AEW for this guy.
I mean, you look at the Twitter bio of my podcast, it says hosted by me and AEW Smart Mark, and that's what I am. But anyway, yeah, Hangman Page is the face of the year. Not necessarily because I only watch AEW. That's part of the answer, but
99.99999% why.
But I couldn't think of a WWE face that like truly made me feel like he was a really good face. I couldn't think of one. But Hangman Page, he was like the guy that the crowd always, they were always on his side. He has almost like that Stone Cold or John Cena baby face appeal to him. Like, you either really love him or you really hate him. But he just, I don't know, every feud that he was a part of, every match that he did, like even the matches with like Matt Hardy, the money match or whatever they did, he won Matt Hardy's
his first quarter earnings for 2021. Yep.
That match was pretty good. He didn't really have a bad match. I mean, he was out for 2 or 3 months with the birth of his baby, which we can all appreciate that AEW gives you time off to do stuff like that. But I just felt like when I thought of when I think of babyface, it's Adam Page. He is the ultimate babyface, and so he's my face of the year.
Interesting. I'm hoping Randall doesn't have mine. I'm not sure if he does, but we'll go to you next and hear what you have to say.
Well, this is quite awkward. Y'all can't get expecting this. I picked Adam Page as well.
Really?
For literally the same reason James just stated. I thought of the entire year who was a face that I could think of in WWE, and I literally could not name a single person that made a splash. I could say Edge, but I mean, he's only wrestled like half the year, and other than the Rollins feud, I couldn't really think of anything. I mean, this Miz feud that he's starting is going to be very good. But I really can't think of any other promotion a face that made the biggest impact in the business this year than Page. Maybe it's just because I don't know what it is. Cody and you guys can back me up on this. I used to only like faces. I always hated heels, but for some reason, I don't know whether it's because the people that I cheer for have turned or what it is. I'm more in tune with the heel. I also feel WWE is only building heels. Like, They're most of all, if not all, their champions are heels. SmackDown, I think, has all heel champions. So, I mean, when that's all you have, I mean, that's all you can really surround yourself with. But yeah, I'm going to go with Adam Page only because I can't think of another face in the industry that I appreciate it. Y'all can't expect any more AEW answers, Adam. Yeah, it's 2 for 3 right now.
And here I was thinking that you would be kind of swinging out of left field. I'm the one that's going to be swinging out of left field. Fellas, what does my hat say? This part, the
shock.
The shock. Okay, gotcha. This might be a shocking one. My face of the year is not an AEW wrestler. It's a WWE performer. When I think of a face, I think of a person who has, if not for the whole year, for majority of the year, stayed as face, stayed as a heel, or maybe have a great heel turn for majority of the year. That when I think of a face, I think, man, ain't nobody don't like this person. Everybody loves this person. They got a great personality. It's a rare commodity when you have a face that people just don't hate. That, you have your smart marks that hate a face. When Roman was a face, people hated him. You talking about yourself, James, or Eddie Kingston? Yes. Yeah. Everybody hates him. There has to be that special connection with the crowd that people just go, I can't hate that person. I got to cheer for them. I got to like them. I appreciate them. And I found that person this year. Hangman Adam Page, once again, really close to that list for me. Number 2, probably. But the number 1 person that I think of a typical face, and this is where WWE sometimes does a great job with their character development, is they get you they get that person that you latch onto, that it's a face that you just want to ride with them all the way to the ends of the earth. And for me, that person this year, the face of the year, is Bianca Belair. This person had a fantastic 2021, winning the Royal Rumble. Having that, in my opinion, one of the rare WrestleMania moments in the last few years, her and Sasha, those tears at the beginning of the match from both of them got chills down my spine. I'm like, damn, dude, this is amazing. If this girl doesn't win this match, this is some bullshit. And of course, she won the match. She won the match, won the women's championship. I'm going to get a little bit later as to a certain direction of the company where I will mention something else and along with this ride. But for the whole year, she didn't turn heel. She's been a face throughout the whole time. People love this girl. I compare Bianca Belair's 2021 to Bayley's 2015, I believe, in NXT, where nobody hated her. Bayley had the Bayley buddies. She was on fire. Nobody could hate her.
Didn't she have like the greatest moment ever with Sasha?
Exactly.
Well?
Yes. That match with Sasha TakeOver, probably one of my top 5 favorite matches of all time. But I compared this face run to Bayley's face run. Just everything about it seemed very organic, but it worked. And kids love her, adults love her. When you see her, she's got this infectious smile, this personality that just makes you want to cheer for her. She's not that, oh gosh, can she stop smiling? Can she stop doing this and that? She's not the Apollo Crews, who were like, stop smiling.
Right. Or,
but yeah, that to me personifies a face, and my opinion maybe it's different obviously than yours, and our definition of face is maybe a little bit different as well. So I like the fact that we had different answers and that I'm swinging out of left field. I dug deep on this.
For a second, I thought you were going Nikki ASH, and I was gonna have to kick you off of your.
No, it might be the worst character of the year. We didn't do a worst character of the year, but that might have been it. I'm not gonna lie.
For a minute, I thought you were going to go Matt Riddle, but
see, he said no one hates him. Everyone hates Matt Riddle, it seems like. So
yeah, exactly. So transitioning, now we go from the best face to the best heel. James, I have a feeling I know what your answer is. So I don't think we really have to give a discussion or a summary. What is your answer?
Heel of the year is probably going to be heel of the year for the next 20 years. Maxwell Jacob
MJF,
Friedman.
yes, obviously that's mine too. There's no need for discussion of it. Watch his promos. That's all you need to say. Brandon, your turn.
Roman Reigns. You got to acknowledge that this, and so we were talking about organic when you talked about Bianca Belair. Well, this should have been the organic switch that should have happened after Roman Reigns beat Undertaker. He had the heat. We were live at that Raw after Mania. And I don't even remember. It felt like an hour that he had an opening segment for an hour, and we literally just booed him the entire hour. It felt like, and
he had the heel. I mean, obviously, it's a post-Mania crowd. They're going to be different than every other traditional crowd. But the visual that he had, that to me was the heel move that they should have went right with it, is when he looked right in his hand and did this, because he had us in the palm of his hand. I was like, that's the move right there. Let's strap the rocket ship and let's go.
And to me personally, I felt if they wanted to push Roman, I always felt that was the end goal, was to push Roman. I thought he should have been the one that did the Seth Rollins turn on the Shield. That would have, I think, he has a too cool of a look, like Moxley, Ambrose, whatever the fuck you want to call him. He was always the anti-hero tweener. I think just his personality will always have him in that space. Rollins can get over face or heel, and I don't think he needed the Triple H push, authority type push, whereas Roman Reigns, I think, could have used it and benefited from it more than Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins grew up in the industry, whereas Roman, let's just be quite honest, is only here because he has relatives that put him in the business. But that's not to say Roman's not good, but I still think this is his best run ever. I thought he should have always been a heel. He has a coolness to him that he couldn't hide. Like, I don't know if it's the heel turn itself or if he went to classes, but his promos are 1,000 times better than that John Cena promo where we all know what was going on there. But to me, MJF is fine. Like, he's number 2 to me. The reason he's not number 1 is because it's easy to be heel of the year when all you do is take cheap heat shots. And to me, that's all MJF is he reaches for the easy, cheap heat shots, and does he keep character? Absolutely. I love him for it. I think he's the perfect character. I need more development from it other than, hey, let's just do cheap heat and promos. I don't think he's the best in the ring. And that's part of the thing that I looked into. Roman Reigns to me is, we'll get the best male superstar. He's up there to me as one of the top 5 wrestlers in the business right now. And yeah, so Roman Reigns, heel of the year.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I think we're going to save the match of the year, the best male and female, last. I mean, obviously those are probably the 3 best ones for sure. So let's go with the most overrated male superstar of the year. I'm going to go first. And this is an easy one. I try to think of, like, all right, who do I just can't stand that I don't see why other people like him? Not that hard. Matt Riddle. I don't get it. I don't get it. Never will get it. And then because I hadn't watched WWE.
What's there not to get? He's a stoner.
Listen, hold on.
He's a stoner. That's literally the gimmick.
RVD is a stoner, and I got that character at 7 years old. I'm at 26, and I have no idea what the hell this freak show is right out here. You lost me. You lost me when you fucking flip off those dumbass sandals, and there's pyro that comes out, and then like butterflies fly. All right, you lost me.
Okay, you can't blame Riddle. You can't blame Riddle for Kevin Dunn's retarded
Listen,
buck tooth, beaver tooth, motherfucker.
that's
Sitting-
he is in tune with it, and I hate him for
Yeah.
it. So
You have to
But-
think he gives approval to it if he's going
oh
out to
god,
it every week.
I hate everything about Matt Riddle. I just this
but
guy
but
had
he
the
doesn't
face
have
always
to give
wanted punch.
approval to it. It's the difference is with Riddle didn't have to approve it. He has a job he has to do. It isn't like, hey, if you don't get rid of these birds flying out of my feet, I'm not going out there, because Vince McMahon would easily get rid of his ass. But he is, to me,
He should do that anyway.
Riddle to me is, because he has a personality on Raw, but he has a completely different character. He's also on NXT now, if you guys don't know that. He's known as the tag team shaman. He's partnered with MSK. They do a bunch of, like, I don't know if you ever watched the two MSK people when they were in Impact and they did the little treehouse sessions. It's basically that. They smoke weed, and yeah, it's entertaining to me. There's not much to get. Riddle's just a stoner who does. I don't know. I like Riddle. I don't know why everyone gives him so much shit.
Because he can't perform.
He's great. He's wonderful.
That's why they have to put him in a tag team with one of the greatest superstars of all time, because he has to carry his ass to relevancy.
RVD is a stoner and a fantastic person,
Mm-hmm.
wrestler, performer. I don't get it with Riddle. Anyways, James, who is your most overrated male wrestler of the year?
This was a hard one because I can name a few, but my good pal, Mr. Randall Beatley, mentioned this guy and said that he was one of the top 5 wrestlers of all time right now. So that just goes to the point that I think Roman Reigns is one of the most overrated wrestlers in the entire industry.
How?
Because you kind of admitted it. He's only there.
Okay, yes, he's
his
here
name.
because of The Rock. But when you look at mainstream wrestling culture, if you look at the crossover,
Mhm.
if you go to anybody on the streets today, whether without knowing whether or not they have a wrestling knowledge or background, and you ask them who Roman Reigns is, they're more than likely someone's going to know. He gets on the late night shows. He gets in movies. Did The Rock put him there? Sure, but he's busted his ass off to get where he's at. He's a wonderful in-ring talent. His fighting style is super simple, and he's added a wonderful submission move with the guillotine to as an actual finisher rather than just spearing and Superman punching. I don't see how he's overrated. I can understand if you don't like him or if you don't agree with him having this long championship run, but he's not overrated.
I think he is, because I don't think he's that entertaining in the ring. I don't think his promos are all that great. I don't think he has, as much as everybody likes to jump shit on John Cena for having 5 moves, Roman Reigns, you can basically write with a fine-tooth comb when
it was no different. It was no different than Hogan. Hogan was a 5-move machine.
I don't think Hogan was that entertaining either. He was just.
We're not asking who's entertaining. We're asking who gets the business over.
Roman doesn't. I don't think Roman does. I think he's overrated. I don't think he's getting a push because of his family. He's not getting a push because he's a super entertaining wrestler. That's why WrestleMania this year coming up, he's going to fight The Rock. He wouldn't fight.
He's not going to fight The Rock this year. If they wanted to do The Rock, they would have already set it up. There's a reason that I'm pretty sure the day one match will end up being a triple threat with Sami Zayn for a reason. Well, I think that's actually, it could potentially get set up to where on Friday, Sami Zayn gets put into the match as the fall guy. That way, Brock and Roman fight at WrestleMania. That's just my take, but I could be wrong. I don't see. You haven't given me a legitimate reason other than he's the spawn of The Rock's family. therefore he's overrated.
Now, children, these are opinions, and they're just like assholes. We all got them. Unless you're mean, you have to. That's another story for a different day. Randall, who's your most overrated male wrestler of the year?
This is going to really piss some people off. It really will.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
I had a lot of people I could put in this category. However, I'm not going to take the low hanging fruit like James just did and pick the easy target. Everyone knows my disdain for the Bucks and Omega and all of them. So I'm not going to choose them. I for the year, I don't think they've been overrated. I think they've actually played a role in whether or not I agree with the role. They are where they are on the card, and part of being overrated is getting opportunities you don't deserve. And Omega and the Bucks consistently have been booked the same way. Therefore, they're not overrated. However, Cody talked about he didn't understand Matt Riddle's gimmick. Well, this fucker, I don't understand why anybody would give this motherfucker the time of day to display it. It's Darby Allin. I don't get the character. It's dumb. I get it. Hey, you're a skater boy. Cool. But why the fuck do you paint your like, hey, this is how you book him. Show vignettes of him skating and as part of his life. That makes more sense. First off, why the fuck does anyone care about him? I just don't get it. I don't. Like, he's not good in the ring, in my opinion. He's gonna end up fucking either dead or paralyzed by the age of 40. And granted, it's his body. He gets to do whatever he wants with it. He gets paid to do it. But I don't see the need for all the danger he takes in his moves, in his matches. And I mean, I don't get it. I really don't. We could also add Nick Gage to this as well. Because why people give this fucker the time of day on any wrestling card would well, I don't get that either.
The Nick Gage one, did his role fit pretty perfectly in AEW? Yes. It was only a one-time thing. Yes. I'm glad that we haven't seen more of it. But
so he got over because of the shock factor of, hey, oh, holy shit, they're going to allow extreme type shit on national TV. That's my take on it. The match itself sucked dick. Let's just be honest. It sucked dick.
It served its purpose. Whether or not it was great, I'm not a huge fan of that kind of style of wrestling.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure he went over this on the other episode. I think it was on my show. I feel within the storyline, that being one of the early labors of Jericho, when it was the most extreme out of all the labors of Jericho, it didn't. If that was the last one before MJF, okay, that would have made sense. But with it being the very first one, it didn't make sense to me. So
I don't know if it was the first one. It was one of the early ones.
Second one.
Yeah, it was still one of the earlier ones. I do agree. It probably should have definitely been the last one. But
my rebuttal on Darby Allin is what is there not to get?
They haven't really given me a picture of what the gimmick is. He rides a skateboard down to the ring, but it serves no purpose.
So he paints his face because he feels like he's half alive and half dead inside. So he paints his body in half because he's a skeleton, half man. That's his character, is the internal beating that he's put upon himself. So he's not really a face. He's not really a heel. He's just Darby Allin, and he's out there to do whatever he has to do and figure out his purpose in life. And I think that's why he hits on so many people like him, because they can relate to that.
Interesting rebuttal there, and controversial, sure, in some people's eyes. But like I said, there are opinions, and that's what makes this great. So let's move on over to the most overrated female of the year. I'm going to let James go first on this one.
Great. This one's easy. I don't get why she even has a spot on the roster. We have a loaded AEW women's roster. And yet, for some reason, this lady seems to disappear and then come back and immediately get a daggone damn title run. Like she gets, I think, sometime in the next couple of weeks. Riho, what the hell? Like her value at the beginning of the company was okay. This small girl beat Nyla Rose to win the belt. That's great. But they haven't done anything for it. And she gets title opportunity after title opportunity when people like Anna Jay and Chris Statlander, Layla Hirsch, and other people that I think are better performers are just kind of thrown to the sideline. And she just, I guess because she's best friends with Kenny Omega or whatnot, she gets a title run whenever she wants it.
I will say that, yeah, I don't agree with the fact that she comes in and out, but of course the pandemic hit hard and she lived in Japan, so she couldn't come over. But at the same time, she wins one match and all of a sudden she gets a world title shot. I hate that. I don't understand it.
Sounds like you're world champion as well. Disappears and gets a title shot for
he
no
had a
fucking
good
reason.
He had a baby.
There was a reason.
It doesn't matter if it's not.
He had
on,
a longevity storyline going in.
Okay, here's the rule. Here's the rule, and this is the reason why this is McMahon's rule, but it's a very good rule. If it doesn't happen on TV, it never happened. So he didn't have a child in real life. There was no. Right, I get he had paternity leave, in real life, but on screen he didn't. Therefore,
they definitely did a crappy job at writing him off for a couple months. I agree with that.
And like you said, him losing at Fight for the Fallen and disappearing and then coming back. And then he automatically, because he's already mid-feud that we end it. Now we're like, to me, he wins. I mean, like I said, I don't watch the show, but he gets in some small matches. He wins, and hey, Kenny, I'm coming for my title. Like, to me, this makes no sense. But
yeah. Anyways, is what it is. Randall, your turn. Most overrated female.
Speaking of AEW's women's division, your women's champion is the most overrated fucking suit. I hate Britt Baker. I hate Britt Baker. Again, I'm gonna piss some people off. But I hate Britt Baker. So first off, she's a dentist. I get it. But none of her I get she's had some matches in dental offices and stuff, but nothing about her gimmick other than the entrance music and like some of the t-shirts and stuff. None of that says I'm a doctor, I'm a dentist. Just drop that part of the gimmick. Also, she's not good in the ring. She sucks on the mic. She gets over because she cuts herself in a match and she starts bleeding and people turn that into a t-shirt and she gets over because of it. She's not good. She doesn't deserve to be women's champion. And yeah, I'll go back into pissing people off. This is why we're on a hinge over here.
This is why you don't give opinions when you don't watch the show, because she's fantastic on the mic. She's fantastic. She has very good promos, but you don't watch the show, so you don't know. So you just have this preconceived notion that she sucks on the mic, but she's actually pretty good.
All right. I've been waiting for this one for a while. Most overrated female is a champion currently. She's not in AEW. My opinion. The most overrated female for quite a while is Becky Lynch. I will tell you why. I don't like her anymore. The whole I'm the female Stone Cold thing is done and over with. We've got this persona of I'm the, my shit don't stink. I'm the hottest bitch in town. Don't care for it. It's not.
She lost her steam when she left for being pregnant. She lost it. And the way she won the belt. Yes. Irritated the piss out of me.
Took this hot rocket in Bianca Belair. We shot her to the moon. We get to SummerSlam. One of the, well, not the first, but The biggest show since the pandemic, with the most people in the crowd. Our second biggest show of the year. Bianca wins the title. Or no, she kept the title. She retained the title.
She retained
the title. Awesome. Congratulations. You deserve it. Let's ride with you as far as we can go. In swoops this bitch. Which I understand it's not her fault. She doesn't write the TV. I hate the people that wrote the dumb shit anyways. But it's the fact that she just comes back and just steals the damn thing. And I get maybe that was part of the thing was to maybe make us hate her. Sure. I hate her gimmick.
Yeah,
I think she has gotten stale as hell on a microphone. Nothing's original about it anymore. It's the same shtick.
Well, she's Seth Rollins in female form.
Yeah,
and it worked for Rollins because he adapts it. It was Monday Night Messiah, then Friday night, whatever he was, savior of SmackDown, and then he adapts it every 6 months.
Yeah,
Becky, and I agree with you. Becky Lynch has always been one of those characters to me where, I mean, she's sort of like Britt Baker. She had to get busted open by some fat bitch to get over. They put it on a t-shirt and she got over.
See, Sasha Banks has been a thorn. I've not appreciated her stuff for a while, but Becky definitely topped it this year. So yeah, I can agree with that. There's something I just don't like about it. Moving on, we are going to go with the most underrated female in wrestling today. And I am gonna let Randall go first.
Okay, so I'm super conflicted on this. I have two, and they're like 1A and 1B. And when I define underrated, I define it as they're very good talent who isn't being booked properly. And there's two people on the WWE roster that I think fit that definition. The first is Rhea Ripley. She should be Raw Women's Champion. She is the future of the women's division, in my opinion. I get why people aren't over. I'm not hot on her anymore, and I have a reason why. The makeup department. Can we stop fucking wasting $100,000 of makeup on every fucking superstar's face? She's a beautiful woman. Please stop making her look like she fucking. But my second one is Bianca Belair. She should be SmackDown Women's Champion. She should have never lost it. They should have pushed her to the moon. I personally believe she has carried SmackDown Sasha had to leave to go do her shoot, the filming for Mandalorian, and Becky wasn't there. She carried it for a while without these known stars. Her feud with Charlotte is wonderful. I'm tired of the same four people being women's champion, though. It always seems it's either Sasha, Becky, Charlotte, and Bailey, which Bailey's about to come back. Also, Lacey Evans is about to come back. So if y'all care about that. But yes. So yeah, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair are kind of tied for me. I feel each one of them should be women's champion right now in their respective brands. Rhea definitely deserves a lot more than being paired with Nikki ASH as a tag team, because it's quite bad.
I would agree with that. I'm gonna go next, and I'm gonna say that my most underrated female is one that I think not only myself, but I feel like a lot of the crowd is getting very restless with her booking, is Chris Statlander. She's been with the company for over a year. She had her ACL problem last year, came back right before Double or Nothing this year, I believe, and had a steady run and had a women's championship match against Britt, I believe. Lost that. I was okay with that. Statlander I don't feel like she was ready at the time, and Britt needed it still is women's champion, so I feel she needed this long run. And then we get to the TBS Championship tournament with her against Ruby Soho in a very good match. And I feel like Statlander over the last year has gotten very good in the ring as far as being a little more fluid, being a little bit more, everything flows well. It's flowing better. Her character's fine. It's fine. To me, you have to be presentable in some facet. You can't just be the standard walk down the ramp, say hello to everybody, and then just try to wrestle. Sometimes you need to stand out. Yeah, the alien thing stands out a little bit. Her entrance into the ring with the whole top rope thing falls back, stands out a little bit. The boop is what it is. But when she lost to Ruby Soho in that TBS Championship tournament match, there was quite a few people in the crowd that booed that finish. Whether or not it was a good finish or not, I don't think it was a problem. I think it was the fact that we're starting to get a little restless at she's deserved this chance. Why does somebody like Ruby Soho, who just swooped in out of free agency, all of a sudden get these opportunities? Not saying Ruby doesn't deserve it. She's a fantastic wrestler, but I feel like you need to treat your homegrown talent just as much as the top level free agents. Which surprisingly, in my opinion, CM Punk has not gotten that. CM Punk hasn't gotten a title shot like Danielson has, like Ruby Soho is about to get, which had Ruby Soho, I believe, had a championship match, I believe. And it infuriates me. And it's like, okay, well, if she can't be the women's champion, she better be the TBS champion. Well, now she's not going to be the TBS champion. And it's like, all right, if this bitch does not win the Owen Hart Cup tournament at Double or Nothing, like, I wouldn't be surprised if I would be asking for my release because the crowd's behind her. The crowd, I think, is getting restless. They want to see her succeed and get that successful oomph over the hill and win something. And I'm hoping that she will be a champion in 2022, whether TBS or women's champion. I want her to win the Owen Hart Cup tournament on the women's side. She deserves it. She's worth her ass off. I feel like she's gotten better. But yeah, my underrated female, Chris Statlander. I will hand it off to James.
This was actually really, really hard to pick an underrated female because you have a couple, I think, in WWE that that have not been pushed the way that they probably should. So people like Shotzi and Tony Storm and such. But I'm going with someone that I recently kind of started liking, and I feel like if you can just change her gimmick a little bit, I think you can really use her as a dominant figure and no surprise it's AEW. I'm going with legit Layla Hirsch. I think she has all the technical ability in the world. To me, she would work so much better as like the badass Russian heel that comes in and like cheats to win and doesn't give a crap who she destroys to get to the top. She kind of has that look, and the whole idea of like her smiling in the ring and all that. She's not a face. She doesn't have the look of a face. I think she would do so much better as a heel. Obviously, she can't get to the title right now with Britt as champion if she was a heel, if you're going to follow traditional wrestling dynamics. But I think, and we kind of saw shades of a heel turn, possibly, if you watched Rampage on last week when she fought Statlander. She kind of had a moment where she kind of maybe was hinting at turning heel. But I think you turn Layla Hirsch heel and you can push her to the moon. I really like what she has put together. Obviously, she's not like a big known talent. But that's just someone I think in 2022, with Anna Jay, with Statlander, so there's a lot of women that are probably due for some sort of title run, which is why I'm excited that they're offering the TBS title, because you can't give everybody a title run for the main title. So this TBS title will allow some of these women to showcase their talent in ways that you wouldn't elsewise be able to do it. And I could have gone Jade, but I feel like she's going to win tomorrow and beat Thunder Rosa and probably going to get the TBS title shot against Ruby Soho. But we'll see what goes on with that match tomorrow. But yeah, Layla Hirsch.
Randy,
Yes, sir.
your turn.
I've already given my.
He had Rhea.
Unbelievable.
Bianca.
Here we are.
Yeah, you're too busy fixing the screen over there, sir.
Damn straight I was. All right, listen.
Yeah. By the way, like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you. See, that's all we gotta get. Just a cheap plug. That's all it is. That was supposed to be meant for the end, but I guess it already transitioned over. So I was like, well, here we are now. Down to 5, ladies and gents. Down to 5 categories left. We're gonna go next to the most underrated male superstar of the year. I'm gonna go first on this. Sometimes you have to buck the rules a little bit. I literally could not choose one, so I have to do 2. They're tied, in my opinion. All right. I tried not to be an AEW homer, but I had no choice. To me, the 2 more underrated talents on rosters right now, and there are, I think, there's a lot of these that you could choose from in any company. And I'm not saying that maybe your answer would be better than mine or my answer is better than yours. I think there's a lot of talent that is underrated that hopefully will get better opportunities in 2022 or just in general have better success. But the 2 I had to choose were Jungle Boy and Malachi Black. And the reason why is because Jungle Boy, I feel, is a star in the making. I understand he's small. I get all that. He's kind of comparable on the Bryan Danielson as far as the very small, very good in the ring, needs a little bit more charisma, needs a little bit better mic skills. I'm not saying you need to strap the world title on this guy, but I can definitely see this guy either winning the Owen Hart Cup tourney for the men's side. I could see him winning a TNT title shot for sure. I'm surprised him and Luchasaurus haven't been world tag team champions at the moment. Homegrown talent, this guy is. And I just feel like he's got the crowd behind him. Yeah, the song helps. The song sometimes helps the character get over a little bit. And I think that it's a perfect song if it's him, if it's a character. If we can just stop calling him Jungle Boy Jack or Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, that'd be great. Malachi Black. I feel when you think of the AEW roster, you go, oh yeah, they have Adam Page. Oh, Chris Jericho's on that show. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, Andrade. Oh yeah, Malachi Black's on that roster. Oh, damn, I forgot all about that. He's somewhat forgettable, I feel like. And I could be wrong on that, but I just feel like, and I don't think it's because he's not good. I just think that they are doing something very slow with his character. And I just hope that it builds and builds and builds. I could definitely see him being a world champion within the next year and a half. I'm okay with him being a slow burner to get to that point, but he's got the gimmick. His own creative mindset, I think, is very good. He's very good in the ring. He's one of those guys that when you see him come out, he just makes a presence. And it's like, holy shit, this dude's about to open up a can on somebody. Yeah, he's not the biggest dude in the world, but boy, I tell you, when he hits that black mass, it's a simple kick to the head, but it's one that as soon as he hits it, you're like, yep, that dude's dead. And it's a strong finisher. I love everything about Malachi Black. I love everything about Jungle Boy. I think they're 2 very underrated talents that I hope go for bigger things in 2022. Yeah, that's mine.
Could I offer why he's not being pushed is because, like you said, he's forgettable. He was the same. It was the same way on the main roster in WWE. You would forget he was there, and it's not booking. It's because I've never understood the reason he fit NXT Black and Gold with the whole heavy metal set. He fit that, but he doesn't fit a main. He doesn't fit. He doesn't get over with a mainstream crowd. because of the tattoos and the super horror film type gimmick. And so to me, he's not world title material. There's like, a lot of these indie stars, when WWE signed them, I at least had an idea of who he was. I never heard of who Tommy End was. Also, I think a lot of it has to do with the fans sort of didn't get behind the whole Malachi Black name. They wanted Tommy End back when he got released. To me, that would have been it would have made too much. It would have been logical to do it that way. And apparently I wanted to take the hard way to get him over.
I don't. I mean, once again, I don't think that's a booking problem. I think that's a Malik. That's
That was his own
Tommy
personal
End thing. Yeah,
That was his own
he
personal
wanted to
decision.
literally make this character something different than Tommy End, something
Right.
different than Aleister Black, but combine kind of them together, but kind of make this whole different energy, this different persona. And I think we're truly starting to now get
Mhm.
where this might be going with the House of Black, with the actual members and whatnot.
Right.
Um,
And I think I agree with you. I think he is underrated. He has world championship potential, but I think with the gimmick that they're going with, I don't see where he's going in. Obviously, Brody King is rumored to be the first guy that they're kind of putting in on these vignettes. So it seems like he's going to build a stable. And if they were to put a trios title on there, I could see Malachi, Brody King, and if they put someone like Bray Wyatt or somebody as the third member, I could see him dominating the trios division. There's a lot of teams that I could see being really good in the trios division if they were to go that route. I just don't see him. To me, Malachi Black and his character, I guess, especially, is not one that once he gets the title, to me, there's just no way for him to drop it, because his character is based on like this level of surprise and fighting for some end cause. And if the end cause is getting the title, then what else is there? Like, yeah, he can defend his title, but there's nothing else for him to strive for. He's at the top of the mountain. He's a character that he can chase anybody in the world that he wants. And then once he gets the chase, then he can chase somebody else. I just don't see him in this gimmick that he's in, kind of in the same way as the Fiend. Like, the Fiend's main thing was popping up out of nowhere and scaring the crap out of whoever he was fighting and defeating them and then going on to the next person. Once you're the champion, you can't really do it that way.
That's understandable. I just think that there's something more to this character, and I mean the crowd does make a reaction to him. I just think that there's so many storylines you can do in a 2-hour show, and then of course you have Rampage. I just feel like there's, when he's off TV for a couple of weeks, you just forget about him because you have CM Punk, you have Paige and Omega, who's been off TV too, the Bucks and all these other talent. You have to. Andrade is the same way. I think Andrade is a very strong character that could be a really top player in AEW, but when he's off TV for a few weeks, you tend to forget about it because there's CM Punk's on TV every week, and so it's Darby and Sting and these other guys. So that's why I hope that in 2022 the House of Black becomes more of a fruition. Malachi Black develops a character a little bit more. We see him a little bit more repetitively on TV and just build up that character a little bit better and strive for better things in 2022. That's with Jungle Boy. So, Randall, what is your underrated male wrestler of 2021?
This was 4 years ago. I had a solid answer of Dolph Ziggler, but this is not 4 years ago. And Dolph Ziggler is not at all underrated. He's where he needs to be. He's still the gatekeeper. He's doing comedy. Anyway, we're going to forget about him. My underrated superstar. I am like Cody. I have two. I couldn't decide which one to pick. And so the first one is Matthew Riddle.
What?
He's
He's tag champion.
but he deserves more. So I get putting him with Randy to get him over from the call up, but he's here now. He doesn't need Randy anymore.
Yeah, he needs a pink slip.
No. He doesn't need Randy anymore. What he needs is a title opportunity against Damian Priest for the United States Championship, and he needs to win that damn thing because he's great. He's part of what makes Raw fun to watch, and there's not a lot that makes Raw fun to watch. He's hilarious to me. I fucking love him. I love Matt Riddle.
We have different definitions of fun, I guess.
And the second one is Austin Theory. This guy, before he signed with NXT/WWE, when he was with Evolve, I saw one of his last shows in Evolve. It was part of the PWX sort of Evolve thing that they do every year. And same with Shotzi as such. It was the night Shotzi actually got signed to WWE. I was at that show. And I saw him, and he was like 18 years old at the time. And I said to myself, he's the future of the company. Everyone pinned him as the future of the company. And he came to WWE. He had like a month and a half on NXT. And then Vince called him up, put him with Murphy and Rollins as like one of Rollins' disciples. And then they sent him back down to go with Gargano. And he just hasn't had a clear picture on how he was booked. He's still a physical specimen. I do not like the gimmick he has now. He is basically Tyler Breeze, but actually beautiful. And here's the one thing I can see that I know they're going to do good things with him. He's the only person in the entire company that gets to do vignettes with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon appears on the show for one segment almost every Monday, and it's Austin Theory. After the whole I stole your golden egg story, which, by the way, that movie Red Notice is fantastic. The storyline on WWE, please don't ever do it again.
God, you said that.
There's something about Survivor Series and eggs that we just need to stop bringing them together.
I agree. So hard.
But yeah, Austin Theory, I believe, should be your Intercontinental Champion. If you were to ask me who Intercontinental Champion is, I actually can't tell you. I don't know.
I think it's Phil Shinsuke, isn't it?
No, it's he lost it. He lost it, I think, to Cesaro.
No, it's not Cesaro because Cesaro's fighting McIntyre or something like that. Like I said, I don't know. SmackDown is literally let's push Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and let's see Pat McAfee do shitty. That's all I watch SmackDown for is Roman Reigns and Pat McAfee. But I think Austin Theory should be moved to SmackDown and win the Intercontinental Championship. And it is Shinsuke Nakamura. See,
Told you.
That's how. See, and the problem is when Nakamura is on the TV, and I don't care about him because, like I said, Rick Buggs, which is fantastic, by the way, and Pat McAfee make the segment. I've always hated Shinsuke. Always hated Shinsuke. Y'all can back that up. I've never gave two Chinese shits about him. But
he's Japanese,
and the Japs hate the Chinamen. So please like, share, and subscribe before we get taken down.
Listen, subscribe to this page. Don't subscribe to that one because it won't be around very much longer.
If I'm not banned, but first off, when I created my Twitter page, which is by at Unhinged WP, they locked the account in 20 minutes. I guess I followed too many people too quick. I followed like 80 people, then they locked the account and said if it happens again, they're going to suspend me. So, yeah, I might not have a Twitter for that long, but please follow at Unhinged WP. But yeah, anyway, I'm done with my answer now.
James Beatley.
Great, my turn. My
Blowjob Wrestling Podcast. What is your
Anyway.
That's why letters mean things, ladies and gentlemen. Acronyms mean things, and if you have BJ in your name, but blowjob is the first thing that comes into your mind.
But I just had to. Anyways.
Anyway, my most underrated superstar of 2021. I think it's probably kind of the same reason that Mr. Randall Beatley said with Matt Riddle, is he doesn't need to be with the guy that he's with. I think he can carry his own weight, and they just won't do the damn heel turn already. It's Wardlow. He is built. Honestly, him, Brian Cage, probably Lance Archer, they fit the persona perfectly for what Vince McMahon wants to build in WWE. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Don't worry, Brian Cage is already probably going to sign a contract.
So it wouldn't shock me if Wardlow got up and left at some point in time. But
yeah, he's going to move with MJF to be booked the same way on Monday Night Raw with The Miz.
Damn it. He has the look. Like, do the damn turn already. Have him turn on MJF. And I don't
Has
even
he
care
ever wrestled a singles match by himself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he has
quite a few times.
And like, you can build him to
There's
be
squash
like
matches, but yes.
But like in that way, you can build him to be kind of like the second coming of Goldberg, where he never loses a damn match.
Don't do that. There's a reason we haven't done that since 1998.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But like, he's just a physical specimen. I think he's halfway decent in the ring. We don't get to really see him that often fight, so there's really not much you can show. But he's more than just a bodyguard, I think, in my opinion. And that's all he is right now. And then now, like, Sean Spears is joining it with them, and it's just kind of a weird concoction of, let's just throw Sean Spears somewhere because he don't fit in anywhere else. He couldn't fit in.
Sounds like AEW booking in a nutshell.
And that's another guy, now that I'm thinking about it. Sean Spears.
Oh my God.
Could get a push. I honestly think he doesn't get a push because
they can't use the number 10 anymore.
That's
why
he doesn't get a push, because he doesn't want a championship run. I don't think that's what he's 30 whatever years old now. I think he's just there to kind of put over up and coming talent. I think that he's content with that. That's why he's kind of always been on the back burner when it comes to AEW, because they could have ran to the moon with his chairman gimmick when he busted the fuck out of Cody Rhodes to begin the AEW. And they never did anything with that. And I think that's his own personal choice.
Could have sent him to Impact to work for Christian.
Yeah, Wardlow. I think again, you take him away from MJF and you build him to be this dominant big guy that when AEW went through a series where they were just hiring big guys and that's all you had on the show. And now they're all like, where the hell are they all at? I think Archer got hurt fighting Moxley and from the Charlotte show, I think, at the Texas Death Match or whatever.
Wasn't he in like Japan or something?
So he was fighting Moxley. I forgot what show it was. Dynamite, maybe at All Out. I don't know. No, it was a Dynamite. And he went to do a top rope moonsault and he spiked his head. And so he's been out ever since.
So like we have all these Brian Cage. I mean, even
where's that black guy?
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Like they all could, I guess, be under here as underrated.
If we're talking about big guys, underrated, Jinder Mahal. Veer Manhole, whatever the fuck his fucking name is.
No.
We're not gonna get into that.
No.
Not on this show.
No. Shanky.
Listen, when James told me who the hell that son of a bitch was, I was like, who? Shanky. I said, no, that's not his name. He went Shanky. I went
Shanky.
That's all we can come up. Shanky.
Thank you for calling Amazon technical support. My name is Shanky.
Yep. Remember, that's his channel, not mine.
It's
I'm not
after
doing that.
10 o'clock. It's free. It's free fall now here, bitch.
That's not YouTube's. That's not YouTube's terms and conditions.
Well, fuck. Screw
Please don't
Tim.
ban my account. I'm not the one saying it. He is. Moving on. We got 4 topics left. Match of the year, best male, best female, and the star to look out for in 22. I'll give it to you guys. What category do you want to go first?
I would say do best male or female first. I would save match of the year for last.
I agree.
All right. Well, in that case, we'll go best female wrestler of 2022. James Beatley Jr., you can go first for this.
All right. So the majority of my picks have been AEW. I've had one WWE with Roman Reigns being completely overrated. I'm about to put a third company over right here.
Oh my fucking God.
The best female wrestler of 2021 is the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. And this is my reasoning why. She has taken Impact's women's division, which wasn't in a really good place ever since Tessa Blanchard left. And she has turned it into a just brilliant division now. There's a bajillion women wrestling for Impact that all have had good matches with her. And she carried that division. And then she went to Triple A and put on probably one of the best matches Triple A has ever seen in the women's division in quite some time to win the Rhinos champion, which I think she's probably getting ready to lose to Taya Valkyrie coming up pretty soon. But she just carried women's wrestling for all of 2021. She's the virtuosa, one of the most technically sound women. I hate that Impact's what they call it, fourth wall or whatever, kind of the open door policy has kind of closed with AEW, because I think her versus Britt would have been a fantastic match. But we probably won't get to see that anytime soon. Deonna Purrazzo, Woman of the Year.
And you forgot the main reasons because you like her thick thighs.
No, she's a good wrestler.
Well, okay.
I'll go next. And listen, sometimes you have to get a little controversial, but sometimes you just have to throw facts on the table. The fact is, this lady has held this championship for over 200 days. This lady
Charlotte Flair
is 22-7 in 2021.
Oh, well, not Charlotte.
This lady has revitalized, I wouldn't say revitalized, but it's definitely helped carry this women's division for a while, much like her previous champion did throughout the pandemic. But this lady has definitely made the women's division, in my opinion, a little bit better. She's done well on the mic. She's getting better. She's got her own entourage, which has an interesting character to it, but I think it's okay. Britt Baker, the female wrestler of the year. She's come a long way. She's come a long way since her couple matches in NXT. She's not just Adam Cole's boyfriend.
Speaking of NXT and Britt Baker, they have taken her off of NXT, and her response was, "It's okay. I've taken their baby."
Well, I mean, I guess it's a good, clever way of saying that. She just everything about her has made it a more watchable women's division. I just think that, the gimmick, it is what it is, but it fits, and it is, this woman has.
It would fit better if she came to the ring in scrubs, though.
That would make it a little bit better. You could take off the scrubs and have your actual wrestling outfit underneath. She's bladed, she's juiced. I get it, but she's had hardcore matches here and there. She wrestled with a broken wrist. She definitely is a tougher wrestler than I think most people give her credit for. just think
Let's
overall,
let's just be honest though. Who else can do segments with Tony Schiavone and get people to laugh?
this is true. This is true. Uh, yeah. So I think that
Vince
that's just-
Russo.
that well, um,
Those are laughs of nervousness, not excitement.
listen, we're not going to get back on that topic, damn it. Yeah,
We are if you invite me on your show any other time soon.
maybe soon. We'll see. 2022 is right around the corner. Need content. But yes, that's mine. Randall, take it away.
Y'all pick some obvious choices. Here's where my choice falls in. It's still a champion. That's the only thing we have in common. But see, this woman right here has reinvented herself this year. She has taken this opportunity and has made the most of it. Is literally the only reason I think a lot of people watch the show that she is on. And quite honestly, I think best female superstar of 2021, Mandy Rose. You can hate her all she want, but let's go back to 2015. Do y'all remember Tough Enough? Mandy Sacramondo, whatever her last name actually is.
Yes.
No one liked her. I despised her. Then she came and she did her little thing with Sonya, and didn't like her because she really couldn't do much. Then they said, hey, then she said, hey, I'm gonna go down to NXT and I'm gonna become a heel and I'm gonna dye my hair brunette and I'm gonna become women's champion. And she's played this role perfect. It's fun. It's cool to hate her now because she is a heel. She's building two future superstars of WWE's women's division by getting over Toxic Attraction. And I find her super entertaining. And I think she's hit a new level for what she can do. A lot of me felt she was only with the company because Vince has things for blondes. And I think that's not the case anymore. I think she's very good. She's not the best in-ring performer, but she does her job perfectly. And I think if WWE would just take my advice and go back to early 2000s booking with some of these women, I'm not talking bra. We don't need bra and panties matches, but last Tuesday, not today, but last Tuesday, her segment, she was pre-taped in a swimming pool in her bikini. Only thing we saw was her titties. Let's just be real. If I was a channel flipper and that's what I saw, I'm staying on that channel. I'm sorry. That's they do it on Instagram. The women do it themselves. Sex sells. We need to go back to booking some of these non-wrestling type women like your Scarletts and your Mandy Roses. You would get a lot more people to watch the product doing it that way. And I think Mandy Rose could lead that revolution. That's the woman's revolution.
Is that a revolution?
That's the woman's revolution I want to see.
Or if you're a channel flipper and your 8-year-old son is sitting in the freaking room and titties pop up on the screen, you're going to have to explain to your son why you're not allowed to watch that until you become an adult. And that's probably not something.
I hate to break it to you, but at this day and age, they've seen a hell of a lot worse at 8 years old.
The steal quote that you just quoted, James, that you only like it for her thick thighs.
Hey, look, I'm not gonna hate on it. That's part of the reason why I watch women's wrestling. But that's the part of the reason why everybody watched women's wrestling. I still think there's a point in the industry where you can have your Becky Lynch's, who please don't ever put her in a bikini in that type of scene, or your Sasha Banks, or you're actually good in the ring performers. But that doesn't mean that every single woman has to do that. People like Lana could have gotten a hell of a lot over if we had the type of booking we had in the Attitude Era for women. And it doesn't have to be all of them. And of course, you would ask for their consent first. But
Let me turn it on its head and ask you this question. So let's change the gender to male. People like Joey Janela, he's not a super technical wrestler.
he's also not super fit, so no one wants to see him.
No, I'm not saying show him like in a speedo or nothing, but like
I'm sure he would do it anyway.
he does his brand of wrestling, like the hardcore stuff. Like why if we can showcase one extreme with women being clad and showing body parts, why can't we show
the extreme shit? I'm fine with the ECW type booking. We'll get over in some extent. The problem with it, the reason why they won't show it is because of the sponsorship money that they'll lose from it.
Well, then, and again, play devil's advocate. I'm sure the sponsors wouldn't want you showing sexual body parts in this day and age. Like, I get it, and I partially agree that could sell, and that's probably why we'll never have another 4 million.
Not could, it will. There are statistics from Attitude Era to PG era. It sold. It was the main reason why people watched. I mean, hell, they had fucking Hugh Hefner on the show at one point.
Yeah, but I mean, we're in this day and age now where the PG police are all over, the PC police are all over the place. And hell, Max Caster almost got kicked off of AEW for making a joke.
He made a sort of, it wasn't his joke sort of like rape related?
He made a joke about Duke Lacrosse, which maybe crossed the line. But again, that's just on your opinion. They were found innocent. So to me, it's not that big of a deal. And then he said something about Pretty Blonde.
He said something about Cuomo a few weeks ago.
He said something about, what's her name? Julia Hart's genitalia, which, okay, whatever. But
okay, so there's a difference about being graphic about your junk and showing people in bikinis. There's a difference. And it doesn't have to be every week, and it doesn't have to be mud wrestling unless you want to piss Jim Cornette off.
Australian dick wrestling.
but my point is, and I get what you're saying, but the same people that would complain about me having a bikini contest on Monday Night Raw are the same people who are liking these same pictures of these same women on Instagram. And so they play the victim. Vince McMahon has never listened to the fans. He will never listen to the fans because they actually don't know what the fuck they want. And so I think if you want to reach a mainstream crowd and get the same type of viewership you had in the early 2000s, go back and do what you did in the early 2000s.
That's why on one of the early episodes in 2022 of Beyond the Curtain, we're going to detail as to why the Attitude Era truly sucked. We'll get to that later. Moving on.
Can we put a tagline and an asterisk spoken by salty WCW fan?
No.
No.
That had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Best male wrestler of the year. James Beatley Jr., you have the floor.
All right. So partially the same reason why Deonna Purrazzo was the
best. You like those thick thighs?
Was the female, the best female, in my opinion. This gentleman is the best male because he went to AEW and he captured the AEW title and had probably one of the best AEW title reigns to date.
Hasn't really been like 4 champions though. Can't really do much when the 2 before you didn't do shit.
He went to Triple A and won the Triple A Mega something whatever championship.
Just say the motherfucker's name.
He went to Impact Wrestling and gave them the biggest buy rate they've had in the last probably 10 plus years. And he carried those divisions for quite some time while suffering multiple shoulder injuries, while never taking a week off, while booking the women's division. Kenny Omega is your male superstar of the year. And enjoy your time off because you deserve it, friend. And I can't wait till you come back. And
so you can put your dick deeper down his throat.
So when you come back and we can have the undisputed era, the undisputed
man.
era versus the super elite fight.
They can't use undisputed era, my friend.
Undisputed elite. How about that? The male wrestler of the year is not Kenny Omega. I'm sorry. The male wrestler of the year is not Hangman Adam Page. The male superstar of the year.
Chris
Yeah, right. Marco Scott. If you
Sunny Kiss.
so, well, depends on which day he feels like a man.
Depends on what day of the week. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Neither Rose.
No comment.
Also depends on what day of the week.
That's just what it is. I would have never chosen this gentleman years ago, but he's made me a believer. He truly has. He's carried the brand. He's carried the company. Ain't much else to say, but the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns.
You are a fucking retard.
Is the male superstar of the year. He's made me a believer.
Why
He
are
has
you
acknowledged
turning?
him.
Why
He
are
has
you
acknowledged
turning?
him.
Why are you turning
I'm
on
not turning.
AEW?
I got a damn AEW flag right behind me. I don't have a
This is
WWE
your
flag.
heel turn.
No. I have to give credit where credit's due.
It's the worst gimmick you could ever come up with. Yes, it is. It sucks so bad.
But it's realistic.
His face run was the worst gimmick they could have created.
I mean, he didn't have a gimmick, but
Yeah, well, whatever it was.
it was
This heel turn that's been long overdue, that's finally come to fruition. It's worked. He's himself. He can be the biggest dick in the world, and it works. And listen, the championship reign, I am not upset with the fact that he's been WWE champion for over a year, right? He's been WWE champion for almost 2 years, I think. Not mad at it because there's nobody that I could see that could be WWE champion or Universal champion, excuse me.
and it's felt different than someone like a Brock or if a Brock or a
Yeah,
Goldberg
he shows up every week. He has a point. He when you look at him, listen. When I look at Roman Reigns and I see him in a main event picture, a main event spot on a pay-per-view, I compare it to a big fight feel. I really do, because his character, I swear to God, I don't know. It's long overdue. He should never turn face again. This guy, when they turned him heel, it just finally let him be him. He's comfortable. He embraces it. He's so good at it. He delivers very good matches. And I mean, yes, the WWE style and the AEW style are completely different. They just are. And it's okay. That's okay. Every company should be different in some aspects. Sometimes the WWE product and the system works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the AEW product and system works. Sometimes it doesn't. This is one of those cases where it works. It fits it perfectly. This is the John Cena run, the Hulk Hogan run, the Rock run. Not in the comparison of selling out 100,000 seat arenas or selling the most merchandise or setting ratings record. Just the title reign itself, this guy is the face of the company. And typically you have a face that runs a company. I get it. But Roman Reigns has made me a believer. I hated this son of a bitch for so many years. And so did so many people. But I can't hate him because he's doing so well. He's embracing this role. The tribal chief thing is fine. The bloodline thing is fine. The turn on Paul Heyman was great. It's worked. I've enjoyed it.
Now, and there's to me, there's clear direction on where it's going. Everyone and their mother knows where this is going, and they're just waiting for it to happen. Now, I will say I did like the turn on Paul, but I also think it could be a distraction, and that Paul Heyman's going to turn on Brock on Saturday.
Now, question. I did bring that up last week.
I've digged into more of it, and I agree with you, my friend.
I don't think I predicted that it would happen, but I gave that secondary notion
Right,
of
right,
what if this is just a switch,
right,
but which would be good storytelling. I think it would work.
right. And you then you send Brock home, and then I think SummerSlam 2022. If The Rock were to show up, that would be the show. They're not going to put Rock in WrestleMania in Texas. They're going to do it in Hollywood.
Which
Well,
would be WrestleMania 30,
next year, the next
yeah.
year. So it's in Texas
23.
this year, or 2022, and then 2023 is in Hollywood. What I would like to see, if we were ever going to bring back someone, I would like to see, because it's in Texas, to me it would make sense. It's Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold. Winner. If Owens wins, he gets to keep the stunner. That would have been the type of match I would have liked to see, and it would have worked. Owens is super safe. Austin wouldn't have gotten hurt. I don't think they're going to do it. Austin has no desire to get back in the ring.
Can't say I don't blame him, but it would be interesting to see for sure. Who's your male wrestler of the year?
Mine? Yes. So I wanted to go Roman Reigns. However, I didn't. My wrestler of the year, not only is he wrestler of the year, but he, in my opinion, is the greatest wrestler on the planet at this moment. And his name is Randall Keith Orton. And this is why. He hasn't had a very good, what I would say, like, good 2021 in terms of being in the world title picture, but this look at his year. He went from setting the Fiend on fire to helping, doing whatever the fuck him and Matt Riddle do in those shenanigans, and he's been able to get it over. And so the consistency, that he never has an off night. He I think is the best in-ring competitor in the world, in my opinion. And at his age, for him to be doing what he does, he gets his days off when he wants his days off, and that's fine. He's always in some sort of storyline that is meaningful, and I love Randy Orton. I've always liked Randy Orton. I wish he could get, if there was anyone in the world to beat Ric Flair's record, which will happen because of of course, it's going to be Cena. I think Cena will have one more run before he officially retires from pro wrestling. But I really want to see Orton beat it as well. I think he more than deserves it, especially now that Hunter probably won't ever wrestle again with that heart attack he had. Seeing all of his babies leave the company. No, but yeah, Randy Orton, to me, he's the most consistent superstar year to year. And to me, he's 2021's been just as good as his 2020 with the Edge feud and everything, in my opinion.
Understandable. It's interesting just in the aspect of it's not the top guy of a company, I guess you could say, but he is still one of the top guys, and one of the top performers consistently year in, year out, for sure.
James, you look like your head hurts.
2 more to go, James. 2 more to go. We're almost there. Which one we want to do first? Match of the year or star to look out for next year?
Do match of the year.
Match of the year. I'll let you go first, Randall.
All right. Well, there's been a lot of very good matches in 2021. I had to go and actually look at a list of like what other people were picking, because I couldn't remember just to get an idea. And this match consistently is in the top 5, if not the top 3 of everyone's match of the year bracket. It's top 5 in WWE's own. I don't like their positioning, especially with the ones above it. I think, and it wasn't that it was sort of, like the best match it really just depends on how you define what would make something the best match. It is Walter versus Dragunov at TakeOver 36. And I picked it because, one, I think it was the best match of NXT all year. It was a slugfest. It was the David and Goliath story told correctly. Walter had the belt for damn near like 1,000 days. And to see someone like, everyone was like, why hasn't he lost yet? Pete Dunne couldn't do it. Tyler Bate couldn't do it. There has been so many good superstars in NXT UK that couldn't do it. Walter seemed unbeatable, and Dragunov did it. The moment itself was fantastic, because while a lot of people assumed it was going to happen, the fact that it actually happened still shocked me, even though I knew it was going to happen. It was one of those things where I'm like, oh, they're going to take the belt from Walter, but I really wouldn't believe it until it happened, sort of like Taker losing his streak. We knew it was going to happen, and then it happened, and unfortunately, the UK division sort of just, no one cares about anymore. The NXT took all the good stars and put them on Tuesday nights, and no one watches it on Peacock anymore. Well, I guess over in UK it would still be on the WWE Network, but Dragunov and Walter, it may not be the best match in terms of like hype and like the in-ring. It wasn't super flashy to me, which is always something that I look for, because you never really see matches that don't involve flips and super kicks, and you got that in this match, and so that gave it a lot of points in my book. A close second, I hope I don't take anyone on this list, would have been the triple threat at Mania between Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Edge.
James, I'll let you go next.
All right, my match. What's the sigh for, sir?
Can I predict it?
I just don't want James to take mine, but go ahead.
My match of the year. So set this up. The competitors that I have.
Oh boy.
Does this take place in a cage?
Have consistently, year in and year out, time in and time out, put on the best match of the card, and they did it again at All Out in the steel cage.
Son of a bitch, you took mine.
The tag team title match between the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks. Best match I think we've seen in AEW history. It was, I watched it again while I was working today, just to understand why it was so great, why I thought about it. So it was so great. The Lucha Bros entrance one, I wish they would give those sort of entrances to people and pay-per-views all the time. I think Mikey Ruckus was one of the guys that was doing some of the performing of the song. The Young Bucks, and you just love to hate them. And I already knew the finish. I already knew how it was, but I still got goosebumps watching that match today. So I think, to me, when you have a match that you can watch time and time and time again and still get goosebumps, it has to be the match of the year.
Yeah, it definitely is my match of the year as well. The storytelling, a lot of people hate the Young Bucks because it's all flips and kicks, not much storytelling going on. I will say there was a shit ton of super kicks. Didn't need all that, but they actually.
And by shit ton, he means like 6 hours in a row of them just kicking the shit out of each other.
No.
But they did it with a spiky shoe.
There was some storytelling.
Who gives a fuck?
There was some.
That was after 15 other super kicks.
There was some storytelling involved in the match. The ripping of the mask, the constant struggle of the Lucha Bros trying to come back, the Young Bucks beating them down, and then finally the Lucha Bros pull out this bloody, bruised mess and pull themselves together. That brotherly spirit, two legitimate brothers fighting, or pair of brothers fighting. Just the chemistry they have is phenomenal. just everything about the match was thrilling, exciting, and told an actually decent story to it. And the Lucha
Oh,
Bros become world tag team champions.
and then the pop they got when they won the damn
Oh
thing,
yeah, one of
out
the
of
best
this
pops
world.
for sure.
And
was
also,
awesome.
kind of just to make a quick aside, if Ray Phoenix were to ever go single without his brother in the same company as him, he would make a fantastic world champion any day of the week. Just the way he can maneuver any part of that ring to his advantage. He does it. He's like Rey Mysterio times 10, in my opinion.
All you need is just the word Ray in your name, and you're good.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was just a fantastic match. That's all I can say about it. Last topic of the night, finally there. You don't have to go into a paragraph or page long explanation. It could be a sentence or two, or try to make it a sentence or two since we are really over. Let's go to the star to look out for in 2022, Randall Beal.
I mean, god damn.
Don't
All points
break the
aside,
damn mic.
I mean, there's really not much to say about the superstar. They're already getting a big push going into 2022, and obviously, there's about 5 people I can name for this. That are projects. A lot of people hate the new NXT 2.0 because they're a bunch of project developmental, but I love that because they're building for the future of the company. And while I can name any of the male superstars like Braun Breaker or Grayson Waller, I'm not going to pick them. I think our breakout superstar of the year in the industry will be Cora Jade. Yeah, I just there's not much reasoning behind it. She's getting the big title push already. She was a big focus at War Games, and getting that win. I mean, we know it's setting up a big push going into 2022.
The female Darby Allin.
Not going there. Not going there. Since you are talking, who is your superstar or breakout performer of next year?
So I have 2 because I couldn't break it down into one. I think they both deserve it. One,
my damn person again, aren't you?
One is Dante Martin.
Oh, okay.
Because, and this is gonna suck. And I saw a video. I don't know if it was.
He said a sentence or two. Not a.
Hold on, where I don't know what's going to happen once his brother comes back. If they're going to just put him back in Top Flight or just leave him as a singles competitor, but he's just one of the best wrestlers, I think, up and coming. And then the second one, he has 2 matches ever in his career.
God, you son of a bitch!
Look,
why do I let you go? Fuck you, you asshole! Damn it!
Go ahead. You can talk about Hook.
No. You already saw mine now. Show's over, guys. See you next week, assholes. Golly, I can't have anything nice on my own damn show.
We're gonna have to set a rule for all of us. One superstar only next year.
Evidently, because it leaves too much room, I guess. I don't even put 2 because I was like, well, no, let me limit down to 1. I already put 2 on a different one. I went Hook as well. And well,
and then WWE is trying to use his catchphrase for that dumb.
Look, Veer is never going to show up. They've already released that they have no idea what the fuck they're going to do with them. That they're just going to continue playing the same vignette.
That'll be his legacy in WWE is just send Veer.
This is literally the male version of Emelina.
Except that Melina actually. No, she didn't come out. Yes, she did.
She made one appearance and said that she was going to change back into Emma.
And then that's how they Veer will never make his debut. This is going to top Emelina. Mm-hmm. Hook is I feel like they have trained him very slowly. A couple matches in, it just looks very good. He of course is still green. He's still getting used to everything. Big time crowd though. Big time crowds showing a little bit of what he can do. Looks good. I would put Braun Breaker on there as well. I wish they would put him in training up just a tad bit more, just a little bit more. Like I remember us talking during War Games. Half the time I didn't know if it was Rick Steiner or Braun Breaker. I mean, he's got the same motions as Rick, the same kind of intensity, the same kind of in-ring work. He's just got to be more polished for sure. Same with Hook, but yeah, should be interesting to see how those stars perform. And interesting show overall. Mostly had different answers, I feel like. And it took until the very end for us to finally get to the same ones, sons of bitches. But it's all good. Definitely had some good opinions, good answers, good discussions, and 2021 is in the books almost. Got a couple of different shows coming up. NXT was tonight, Raw was Monday. Tomorrow night will be AEW. Thursday, of course, Impact, and then Friday we close it out with SmackDown, and then we get to day one on Saturday. So
don't forget about Rampage.
yeah, that show. It's too bad that I don't forget about it.
There's not much you can do in an hour, to be honest with you.
It's hard. It's hard for sure.
It worked for NXT when it was on the network because they didn't need commercials.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I agree. I feel like Rampage probably should go to 2 hours, but it can't be from 10 to midnight because nobody's gonna watch it. And it's on a Friday night.
Honestly, 9 to 11 wouldn't hurt.
No, because you're only losing an hour to the crowd.
And I'll be honest with you, it's not. You're gonna force WWE in that time frame to put their main shit at the beginning of the show if you do it that way. So from a competitive standpoint, if you go 9 to 11, all your big shit's gonna have to be from 8 to 9.
Yeah, I think eventually they're gonna have to move it to that direction. Or you could do something where Rampage can be like 8 or 9 to 10 on YouTube or something like that. I think there are some creative ways they can try to go about it, but I just think an hour is too short. They got to do something else with it, especially with the women's division. You got to push that more too. That's a superstar I want to see push in 2022 is the AEW's women's division as a whole.
And WWE's tag team, they destroyed every tag team there is. So they don't have a tag team division anymore.
What is a tag team division?
At this point, Vince doesn't care. Just release everyone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So interesting rebuttals. I appreciate everybody's input and opinions to everything. It should be an interesting last couple of days of the year. Should be a fun 2022 as we are all on the board and on the ship as we head towards the up and up, and hopefully everything gets better overall in the world and society to where we can see some more awesome moments in wrestling. Any last words from either one of you?
No, I mean, just to add on, even though we sort of disagree on everything, I think everyone can agree that 2021 being the post-COVID era, we're starting to get back into being able to get fans again. It's very refreshing, even if it's not a lot of fans to see fans in the building. If now all we got to do is just convince Nick Khan to stop having them pump sound in. But 2021 was a refreshing start to getting back to what we had before, pre-pandemic days, and hopefully 2022 continues that. We all want the industry to thrive, even though it's fun competition. I mean, no one wants anyone to go out of business here. So let's hope that's what needs to get better. The fan for both.
I agree with that.
For both companies.
Every company, yeah, for sure.
So,
BJ.
Well, if you're free on Saturday, the WWE is looking for people to fill in where they couldn't sell tickets. So go to Atlanta, Georgia, and watch wrestling for free.
You're not watching wrestling. I've seen backstage views of that. You're literally watching the guy because you're going to be moved 18,000 times during that episode. They already the escaped leaked video of some of them. I forgot which show. It was a SmackDown, and they were like, "We're going to move you to the front. We're going to move you to different entrance points." during the show, so don't get comfortable. You're going to move seats. So if you're going to be a seat filler, that's what you're looking forward to.
Should be interesting. That should be interesting.
But no, 2022 is going to be probably one of the best years in wrestling history. Just kidding. Maybe it could be.
It could be.
It can't be because the best booker ever doesn't have a job.
All right, listen. When Tony, when Conrad Thompson and Jeff Jarrett make the new wrestling promotion, they can hire Vince Russo.
I lied. Eric Bischoff apparently can officiate weddings now. He was on Raw last night.
Hey, if you remember, he did officiate the Billy and Chuck wedding from 2002, so it's not the first time he's done it.
And Miz about pulled a Titus O'Neil on the way to the ring yesterday. So,
boy, wouldn't that been something on the rehearsal, other the renewal of the vow? Well, it should be an interesting 2022. I think it'll be a very fun year. Hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, it should be a very fun year for every company, and should be a lot of fun. We'll be here to cover it. We'll be here to give our discussion, our rebuttals, our three knucklehead opinions, because that's just how we do it. Once again, follow the Unhinged Wrestling Podcast at Unhinged WP. James's podcast, the Buffalo James Wrestling Podcast at BJW Podcast. Of course, yours truly. You can follow us on Twitter at BtheC Pod 18. We are, of course, live on our YouTube channel, so please like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can see more not daily, but weekly content. Like I said, not every show will be a live version. Some of them will be pre-recorded with some knickknacks here and there. So hopefully big things are to come in 2022 for this channel, for this brand. I think I got some good ideas, hopefully floating around. Just got to get some of the dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and hopefully we'll be on our way up. So appreciate you both coming on tonight, and appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let me know how you like the show and some ideas you'd like to see for future episodes. Until then, we will see you in 2022 Beyond the Curtain.